Okay, I appear to be live or not. Yes, I am. Okay, so hello. Happy day before Thanksgiving. My name is Mike Caton. I'm with Ace Method Coaching. And if you're new here, let me tell you what I do. I have a business where I help hurdlers and hurdle coaches because there's just more coaches and hurdlers there are than people who really know a whole lot about this sport and they need help. So I help both of them with videos that I put on YouTube, but also I've got a handful of products that I sell, some instructional videos, some training plans, and then to do coaching sessions with people. That's what I do. But I also get a whole lot of requests for people who want me to help them with their technique. And so I do that. I choose 5 videos a week amongst the ones that are sent to me. And I do them once a week in a live stream, and that's what I'm doing today. If you watch this and you want me to look at your video, definitely I'd love to do that. The way to do that is to go to my website at acemethodcoaching.com and go to the hurdling page, and you'll see not too far down there a section where you can get a submit for a free hurdle technique analysis, and go on there, give me your information, send me your video, and I will look at it, and then there's a chance that you'll get selected for me to do at a next or upcoming live stream. But if not, if you ever definitely want it, keep in mind that what you're seeing here is a very quick version. I try to do these all in about 5 minutes each. But when I work with somebody who's hiring me to do a virtual session with them, I spend a lot more time and I get a lot more detail and give a lot more information there. So just know that's also a possibility. And I'll show you in a little while how that works. Let's see here. I'm probably not on the right page to be doing this, but anyway, so I'm going to look at the videos now. If you have a question for me during this live stream, go ahead and leave it in the chat. And when I finish the analysis, I will check them out. So let me go back here, change my page. Okay, the athletes that I'm going to look at in order today, I'm going pretty much from the youngest. Actually, now that I think about it, they get a little bit out of order, but I go from an 8th grader named Lucas to a 10th grader, then a 15-year-old, and then a 10th grader. The 15-year-old might also be a 10th grader, I believe in the UK. And then I finish with a college freshman who's a multi-eventer needing help with his hurdles. So that's what I'm doing. So starting off here with Lucas, let me make this full screen. Okay, here's what I know about Lucas. Lucas is in the 8th grade, or this was him in the 8th grade. I'm not sure. He said 2nd year hurdling. And in this video, he is the first, he's in first place. He wins this race easily. But this is the first time that he ever 3-stepped. And so his question for me was, overall, what do I think of his technique? And he kind of felt that he was lunging into the hurdle too much and wanted to know what I thought. So Lucas, I've looked at this a few times already, and I will tell you that overall I'm super impressed. For somebody who is their first time 3-stepping, this must have been an exciting day. You really went for it, committed to say, I'm going to make this happen, and I'm going to run full speed and take nice long strides to make it happen. And it worked. I mean, you won by, looks like almost 2 hurdle lengths. So great job on that. So I will say this, that overall, I don't see a lot of changes that I would suggest. You maintain your speed the whole way. you didn't lunge too much into the hurdle. That's what you need to do. And if you look, your center of mass or your curve doesn't go up. You stay pretty level almost all the time. That's really good. Yes, your stride is a little longer than ideal because it's going to be a little slower turnover of your legs. But at your age and the spacing that you have here, it's probably the best that you can do. So I'm thinking that it was really, really good. Okay. So those are the real big things. You attacked the hurdle really well. You stayed flat over the hurdles, and you had a really nice repetitive turnover to get your 3 steps the whole way. But that all being said, you want to hear some sort of feedback to give you something to work on. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me give you a few things, but keep in mind, I think they're just going to happen over time. Okay. Okay, I would work on, well, let me get you right here. This is a nice step going into the hurdle. I like that it's underneath you. You're kind of leaning into the hurdle already, which is great. Your lead leg is tucked up to your butt really nicely here. Extends really well. You come down pretty close to that hurdle, so that looks really good. I don't love the collapse of the knee here at this point. So try to get your hips up taller. Try to be up tall when you come off that hurdle. Also, at this point, when you're flat on the ground, your trail leg should have rotated around to the front already, and yours is still like halfway there. Okay, so I would suggest pulling your trail leg through a little quicker. Okay. Let me get you closer again. Overall, the arms are okay, like certainly right there. I would have this bent more, like about 90 degrees, your trail arm. This looks good, but I am noticing that when you pull your lead arm back, that you're doing it with a straight arm, and it ends up twisting your shoulders quite a bit. You really want to keep your shoulders and your hips pointed straight down the track, and you don't want this twisting to happen. So work on that. Part of the problem is because you're a bit high on that hurdle, and so that's going to happen anytime you're high because your body is taking too long to touch down, so you're over rotating a bit. But it could help just by focusing on it. That'd be a good thing. And as I said, these are really long strides, but I just think that if I'm not mistaken, you are racing at high school boy spacing. I could be wrong. To tell you the truth, it's hard to tell. Hard to tell. I don't know what your middle school league measures at. They might be unique. I can't really tell. But anyway, I just think with age and speed, it's going to come together, and you are well on your way. The only thing is you notice the way you're, like I already told you about your arms and how you're twisting around with how your arms are straight at this point. You want to really just keep them tighter. Keep everything forward. Keep everything tighter with your arms. I think it's going to make a big, big difference. Okay, I think you're doing great. So keep up the good work. Okay. I'm gonna send you the opportunity to get some of the things that I normally sell, and I'll tell you about that. You're probably ready for Hurdling 201, so I'm gonna show you how you can get that for free. Okay, all right, moving on to the next person. His name is Yash, Y-A-S-H. And Yash is from some country that I do not believe is in the U.S. It's very tropical, and they have palm trees along the track. I've never, unless somebody in Florida is doing that, I haven't seen it, but I don't think that's Florida. Okay, so anyway, Yash is 10th grade, first year hurdling, runs the 400-meter hurdles, and he's done it, I believe, 4 times, and he's kind of stuck at running 64 seconds, but wants to get down to 55 because he wants to compete more national level where they're running those kinds of times, okay? So, Yash, I've already looked at your video and went through and counted all of your steps, okay? And here's what I know, is that you took 24 steps to this first hurdle and hit it with your left leg. And then you went to 16 steps for the next 2, which meant that you had to alternate legs. So you went right and then you went left. Now, I don't know if you figured that out all by yourself or you've watched my videos about my opinions on this, but you did a great job. I mean, you are doing it like the Olympians, where you're figuring out your steps and not afraid to go over with your opposite leg. So great job on that. So I really like, I will say this, on hurdle 1, you chopped your step a little bit, so you lost a little speed. Hurdle 2 and 3, when you did 16 steps, I think you hit them beautifully and you didn't slow down at all. And then when you went to hurdle, here we go now to hurdle 3, and you're back to your left leg. There's a little stutter there, but that happens when you have a lot of energy and you're amped up to race. But here's the hurdle that messed you up a lot, which is hurdle 4. Okay, and you chopped a bit there and you went over with your left leg again. So you went to 17 steps. So, and then what you did is 17 steps all the way around until you got to the last hurdle and you were very tired, and then you did 19 steps. Okay, which happens. So let me tell you this, is I think overall your hurdling is good and your steps are good. The only thing that I would say, it's not everything is about hurdle technique. Sometimes it's just about speed, conditioning, so speed and speed endurance, okay? Because you are definitely super tired at the end and losing a whole lot of speed. So what I don't know is what your training is like. So what I want you to do is email me back when I send you this information, and let me know if you need help with your training, because I've got some great training. I have my hurdle training plan, and I'll help you out with that, because that might be all you need. Because I don't think that I would change your steps. Obviously, I would fix those 2 hurdles that you stuttered at, but I think you're doing pretty well, okay? So in summary, basically what I'd say is I think that your steps are overall pretty good. I do think that you should work on getting your 24 steps to the first hurdle a little more dialed in so you don't ever have to slow down at it. Keep up the great work with hurdle 2 and 3 whenever you did 16 steps. And then also let's take a look at what your conditioning is so that you can maintain this really great speed that you had for the first 200. How can you maintain that for the second 200? So it might be a matter of strength, it might be a matter of speed or speed conditioning, but I'll help you out with that by sending you some stuff. So let me know. Okay, moving on. Now we're going on to, we have 2 Williams. William A. Okay, so William A is 15 years old. He gets 2nd place in this race. Let me speed it up because it's a while. If I understood it correctly, William was successful. Um, I'm thinking at the national level, so I'm thinking maybe UK, and then he went up in the age group, and they end up, you know how it goes, raising the hurdles, increasing the distance, and he's been struggling a little bit. Okay, that's my understanding. This is William right here in the dark with the dark armband. I believe gets second place in this race. So really good, really aggressive, but also mentioned, which is another thing, that he is, I believe, my understanding now, doing 7 steps to the first hurdle, which I'm going to address that later. Let me just get into the technique, and I'm going to wait until you get right here. Okay, so let me do it right here. Nope, I'm going to do it right here. Okay, so overall, obviously you're good, very fast. You look very strong, aggressive, and athletic to me. You really attack it really well. And overall, I think that your technique is good. It's just not great. But it's good. There's not one thing that jumps out that says, wow, this is definitely the thing that's hurting you. Okay? I don't see that. I see a lot of little things. So basically, I would just say you just need to fine tune your race or tighten up your race a little bit. I mean, you are 90% of the way there, maybe less. You just need to get a little bit better. So this step going into the hurdle, not bad. I mean, this shin is angled back a bit. It could be better. It could be a little more straight up and down. So working on getting that foot underneath you. Your lead leg moves well. You're higher than you need to be, and you're also reaching the top of the apex of your leap or your hurdling too far forward. It's about right here, and it should have happened about 6+ inches back so that you can come down on the hurdle. Let me see if I can see this hurdle right here. Of course, on this hurdle, I mean, you have very good distance to the hurdle, and I definitely like the angle here a lot. But something is happening to get you to reach the top of your jump too far forward. So definitely work on that. It might be that you're driving your knee too high. That might be it. Even though this is, honestly, this is kind of exceptional angle right here. Usually people are a lot taller and I'm wanting to get down like you. But so basically what I think you should just drive your knee. Make sure it's going at the hurdle versus up over the hurdle, which I think you're doing. And because you have a lot of power, it's what I see in you, you're getting a big jump. So you're reaching your peak somewhere over here, and then you're coming down and it's putting you too far from the hurdle, okay? But that being said, let me go back to this hurdle. When you do touch down, that guy's head's in the way. Let me go back to this. Dang it, that guy's head's in the way. Okay, but I still think I can tell. When you touch down, I think you're doing a nice job. I think you're probably touching down about right here, and you're straight up and down, which is really good. Your trail leg is in a good position. Your arms are in a good position. I just think you should like tighten things up. Oh, okay, I can see something. You are pulling your trail arm to the side. It needs to be behind you, and you're holding it to the side and a little bit in front. I shouldn't see your hand at this point. So there's that. Okay, but I do like the way again, every time you touch down, somebody's head is in the way, but I can tell that it just seems like your leg is easily underneath you and you're up really tall and it looks really good. And this is good running between the hurdles. I do think that you are a bit crunched down, but that happens even with the elites. And I do notice nicely that right here, you tend to step up a little bit, get a little taller coming in this hurdle. But definitely I would also work on that, trying to stay really tall between the hurdles, and certainly the last step going into the hurdle, try to get taller so you can come more down on the hurdle versus jumping up at the hurdle. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to summarize right now, and then I'm going to go and look at your 7 steps to the first hurdle. Okay. So in summary, I think that you're doing really well. You're definitely fast and aggressive and athletic. You look very powerful to me. I like your running between the hurdles, but some things that I would definitely work on. Let me see here. That was a good first step. That was a good second step. But see how you're crunched down here? I would try to get up a little taller, like you're sprinting, like normal sprinting, and not preparing to hurdle again. This is a pretty good step going into the hurdle, but you do have a bit of a positive shin angle here, so it's putting on the brakes a little bit. Also, I can see that you're holding your trail arm out kind of to the side and in front of you, and that's going to mess with your balance a little bit. And the other thing is, I think that you are reaching the peak of your jump, your apex, too much on top of the hurdle. You're supposed to reach that in front of the hurdle, about a foot out, and then come down on the hurdle. So this means that you are jumping too high. Okay, when I look at you go into this next hurdle, even though I think your angle right here is terrific, you should have just kept your thigh aiming this way, but somehow your trajectory kept going and it put you top high right here, and it should have been back here and then start coming down already. So I would work on that. So it's a combination of those arms, just overall tightening things up. And then one more thing that I'm noticing, look at this. Your shin should never be angled where your foot is higher than your knee. They should have been parallel both to the ground right here, and pull it over that way. Again, just falls in the category of just keeping things tight, because you are about 90% there. We want to get the other 10%, and I'd work on that. So you're probably a really great candidate for my Hurdling 301. So I'm going to show you how you can get that. Okay. All right. I hope that helped. Okay. Moving on to William N. Oh, wait. I meant to go, wait, before I do that. William A. Let's talk about your 7 steps to the first hurdle. Okay. So here's William right here. They've got a whole mix of abilities on this track club, all sprinting to the first hurdle, which is really great. Okay, so what I don't know, because if you've seen my video, I have a video about 7-stepping. I'm not always a fan of it, certainly not at your age, but I have to say that you're doing a really great job. Your first 4 steps have landed. You've landed with your feet underneath you with a negative shin angle. Here's step 5. Step 6, still pretty good. Step 7. And then you go over the hurdle. I mean, it's good. It's questionable though. I mean, again, look how high you are. You're just too high over the hurdle. And reaching your top on the hurdle instead of behind the hurdle, or in front of the hurdle, I should say, depending on how you look at it. Arms just kind of all over the place, so tighten things up. My only complaint about your 7 steps is that your last step. I mean, right here, you are definitely stepping out in front of you, putting on the brakes, and with a positive shin angle. Now, if you can get it underneath you with a neutral shin angle or a negative shin angle, great. But if you keep doing this, I would vote to give 8 steps more of a try. But then again, I don't know your distances at your age group. It might be that this is just closer. Like if in a few years you're going to be where this guy is, maybe at that point you'll be doing 8 steps. I'm not really sure. Just something to think about. Okay. Now going on to William N. I have William in a race, and then William in a practice, I believe. Okay, I just realized that I thought I was super prepared for today's session, but I'm not. Okay, now I know who William is. Okay. So, practicing in the rain, bro. Good job. Okay, so let me just play this. So definitely you're fast, you're aggressive, athletic. You look like you've been doing this a while. I like the way you just attack that hurdle and really work to snap down really fast and come up tall on that hurdle. Okay, let me go back. I might come back to this video, but let me go back to that other one where you're racing now that I know where it is. So this is you right here in lane. I'm guessing this is lane 7, second one from the end here. Wow. Okay. So here's what I'm definitely seeing is how far away you're landing from this hurdle. That is a long distance. I mean, that looks to be more than 4 feet out. And I didn't see that when you were practicing. Let me see. Yeah, there's something not right. This is not a good look, what I'm seeing right here. But I don't know why. Usually when a person comes way too high on the hurdle, that's what they look like. But you weren't that high over that hurdle. So why do you look like that? Let me figure it out. I'm going to have to play detective here. Okay, not the easiest angle to work with. And then when you are right here where I'd love to see you go over the hurdle, you're so close to the hurdle that it's hard to, but maybe I can figure it out. Let me see here. Okay, for sure, here's what I think a big problem is. Let me say what's good. I like your lead leg, but you are I want to say you're too close to the hurdle, but your competitors are all in the same spot. But doesn't mean, I mean, this is high school. I mean, you are here's what I'm thinking about. You have reached the top of your jump right here, and you're on top of the hurdle. And if you've seen any of my other videos in the guy William A right before you, same deal, where in fact yours might be worse. You're supposed to reach the peak of your jump, what's called the apex. in this parabolic curve here in front of the hurdle, but you are doing it on top of the hurdle, which that either means you're too close to the hurdle or you're jumping too high on the hurdle. It's really hard for me to tell. I think you're probably just taking too high of an angle on the hurdle. So the other thing to keep in mind is we want about a 2-to-1 ratio between the front of the hurdle and the back of the hurdle from where you take off and where you land. And you are just landing far. I mean, it's not quite a 1-to-1 ratio, but it's not far off. I mean, this is a good distance, okay? So that's a problem. And so trying to diagnose why you're doing that, because your lead leg looks pretty good, but the angle looking down on you, I can't tell exactly. But the other thing that I want to see is your plant leg is right here. When you push off that leg, it should be straight and your body should be at a steep angle. Maybe steep angle is not the right word. You should be at a angle more towards the hurdle, and you haven't. You didn't do that. So what's happening is you're not pushing off hard enough into this hurdle from your right leg. You really got to commit hard into that hurdle, moving forward right through or right at the top of this hurdle, right? And part of the reason what's happening is because you're not committing enough with this leg. Oh, darn it, I thought something else. I think I was going to say something and now I'm second guessing myself. I wish I had a better camera angle. It might just simply be because your lead leg is not coming down the way that it should. Maybe you're just too, because I was thinking that you were bringing your trail leg through too soon, but no, this is the way you want it to be at this point, right when you're on top of the hurdle. This is where you want this to be. So I'm trying to figure out why. So anybody watching this, I'm really having to work here to figure this out. A lot of times I try to go into these. Early on, I used to try to doing blind, and I would realize it was making me work too hard for too long. So I actually try to look at these videos at least once, so I have a general idea. But I somehow forgot to look at William's video going in, and so I haven't studied it until now. And so I'm really having to figure out what's going on. Okay, you are getting a bit of a lean over to the left side with your upper body, but it's not that bad. But this right here is not right. I can't figure out what is wrong with that. This guy's the same way. None of these, maybe the guy in the front, but okay. So basically, I think what's happening is, like I said, you might want to take off a little farther back, go at that hurdle, because you want to reach your apex in front of the hurdle, and when you come down, you'll be closer to that hurdle, and then you'll just have a better look. Yeah, that's definitely what I'm seeing. Because like when I see what your legs look like here, this is the way somebody looks when they're like jumping and then landing versus hurdling. So I think I'm ready to summarize it right here. Okay, so overall, I think that you are fast and you're athletic and you have a lot going on. That's really good here. But definitely I'm seeing a situation where you are landing too far away from the hurdle and you are reaching your peak on top of the hurdle when you should have reached it in front of the hurdle and then come down on that hurdle. So I don't have a great camera angle to prove this out, but you could experiment with taking off a little farther back, That might be the whole fix. And then also when you lunge towards that hurdle, go into the hurdle, make your legs wrap around that hurdle, keep your center of mass low and flat. And then when you come off that hurdle, you want to bring that lead leg down quickly, almost to where the shadow line is right here. And that could be something you work on in practice, is put a marker down and try to touch that. Okay? And what will happen is by doing that, you're going to bring your hips forward as you come off that hurdle. And then you're going to change this awkwardness that's happening with your trailed leg here, because that's not moving properly. So I think you're just giving up some speed here by your approach to the hurdle. Okay? And so again, when you come off that hurdle, you want to touch down quickly, and you want to come off tall and up running. Okay? And you are just kind of jumping too long in the air. And keep in mind, the more time you spend in the air, the slower you're going to be. You want to hit that ground running, because when your feet are propelling, pushing hard off the track, is when you're going faster and you're spending too much time floating. Okay? Let me look at your practice video here and see if I see anything else. Yeah, you can see, I mean, here's the hurdle. Again, I understand that this hurdle is down probably to 36 inches. And it's not 39, but look at how high you are over that hurdle, okay? And you've reached the top of your jump about right here on top of the hurdle, and you want to have done it back here. So I would measure out from the hurdle probably about 7 feet and take off from there, and then try to touch down closer. To be honest though, this is way closer than what you raced at. So I'm seeing two different things here. So for some reason in the race, you were landing another foot or two out from here, maybe 1.5 feet. That's something. But also notice how you're kind of like sitting back at this point. When you do touch down here, you want to have your hips more forward. So when you come down, one of the things you can focus on is bringing your hips forward, and that'll help bring your lead leg down quickly, and you'll be up taller, so you get up to running sooner. Okay? So that was a lot of work to diagnose that, but that's what I think is going on. Okay, moving on to Joel. Joel is our collegiate for the day. Joel is college freshman, a multi, so it means he does decathlon and indoor pentathlon. I can't remember what it is. But he's new to hurdling, only been doing it 2 months. So he's, my guess is, a fast, overall athletic track guy, and he's new to hurdling. So okay, so lots of good stuff going on here. I'm going to cue this up to right here. So here's what I see, Joel, that's really good, is you understand sprint technique, okay? The way you're running, touching down with your feet underneath you, landing on the balls of your feet, very low heel recovery in your running, really quick turnover, all really good, okay? But as you know, the hurdling needs a little work. Okay, so here's the last step going into the hurdle, and you are leaning back. You are sitting back. You want to try to make this step be like your other steps, right? Like it's never going to quite be like this, but you want to make it more like that. But so part of the problem, it's not a problem, part of the reason is because you've got this 42-inch barrier in front of you and you realize, whoa, I got to jump over this. So I better get some height here. So you stick out your leg in order to bring you up, and now that's what you're going to do. But so what I would do is I would really, I would practice with some lower hurdles and see if you, like, I would honestly, I would start with 33 inches and see if you can get this lead leg a little more, I'm sorry, the shin, the lower leg of your lead leg, a little more perpendicular to the ground. So straight up and down or neutral. And then once you can do that, then go to 36-inch hurdles, then 39-inch hurdles, and then practice 40, 41, 42-inch, just to get used to that feel, okay? That's what I would do and not be leaning back so far. The other thing is, see, as you go over the hurdle, you have both arms forward, okay? You don't want to do that. Hurdling is just like sprinting and just like walking. Whatever leg is forward, the opposite arm is going to be forward, and then the opposite is also true. You want to be working in opposition. So having your left leg back and your right leg forward, but both arms forward, is a combination to make you off balance, okay? The other thing is your hips. I would probably try to take off a little farther back. This is probably a good landing because you don't look short, but 42 inches looks high for you. And so you're going to have to compensate by having good distance on both ends of that hurdle, certainly in the front of the hurdle, so you can stay lower and flatter as you go over it. All right. I love that touchdown. I love that. This step here is better than what you did on the first hurdle. So maybe you're already good at it, but maybe it was just that first hurdle, because this is better right here. You're not leaning back as much when your foot comes down. But you're still holding that arm out. And you can see, I do think you need to push harder off this leg. So if I would, this distance might be good, but push harder off this leg, drive your energy this way versus this way. So forward rather than up, and try to take a brief moment where you're really extended into that hurdle forward versus taking a little boundy jump over the hurdle. I hope that makes sense. And you can see that you were too high here because you can watch your leg collapse a little bit here, and your center of mass just drop a little bit as you're coming off that gravity pulling you down. Yeah. So it's like this is what it looks like to me, that you're running with really quick turnover and then sort of doing like a little hop over the hurdle. And don't get me wrong, I'm exaggerating there, but just to give you a feel, because you're missing this one element that I should see about right here or here, where you're fully extended right here, definitely into this hurdle, going right here to be flat over the hurdle, but I'm not. I'm just seeing, looks like a bit of a reduction in what you needed to do with this leg, and then just sort of hopping over it, okay? Yeah, and then there's that drop because you were too high over the hurdle. See how high your butt is at this point? That should have happened here and then come down on the hurdle, okay? All right, I hope that helped. For those of you who are interested, let me show you how you can submit a video, but also how I can help you. Let's see here. I want to go to screen capture. I want to really quickly show you what I've got for you. So these are some free things that I provide. One is a hurdle technique cheat sheet, and that is sort of a do-it-yourself on how you can learn hurdle technique. So it's basically taking everything that I know and everything that I do when I analyze a hurdler, and I put it into a spreadsheet, really, really detailed, step by step, and also what to look for, what to fix. You can get a free copy of that. If you want me to look at your video like I did with these people here, here's what you do. You click on this, and you can see some things that I definitely recommend you read. So you can see what this is all about. You give me your information, tell me who you are in the video, what level you are, and also any things you want me to look for. You can upload up to 3 videos, and then you send me the video, okay? But just so you'll know, other things that I sell a lot of that people really like, this is 3 different videos that are instructional. They're videos with also PDF handouts that go with them. This is for absolute beginner hurdlers to learn how. This is for a hurdler who knows how to get through a race but now wants to be a good hurdler. This is for you, and this is for the good hurdler who wants to be a great hurdler and possibly go to college. But a lot of people, I have a package where you can bundle and get a good price for all 3, sell a lot of those. This is a training plan that will give you all the workouts that you need throughout your season, because it's not just knowing how to hurdle and having 1 or 2 hurdle workouts. I'm giving you all the workouts that you need from the beginning of the season, the mid-season, the end season, to get faster and faster and faster and peak at the right time. And then if you want to do a session with me, either live via Zoom or by just sending me your stuff and I work on it and send you back what I did today, that's what this is. It's a virtual coaching session. It's a much bigger version than what you saw me do today. Those are reduced versions. Okay, so that's how I can help you. Let me go back to here, and I'm going to go back to YouTube, see what I got. And nobody has a question for me. Except somebody named Jesus Loves You. Okay, I knew that, but thank you anyway. All right, so anyway, if you need help from me, acemethodcoaching.com, where you can get these things that I showed you. If you want to send me a question, you can also do it there, or you can go to my email, acemethodcoaching@gmail.com. It's easy for questions. Do not send me videos there. They have to go through the website. I do get a lot of requests on Instagram and TikTok for people who want to just share with me there. And just so you know, I'm just going to direct you back to my website, because that's the system to keep it all good and safe and to get your permission and all the good stuff. So anyway, I hope that helps. Everybody have a nice Thanksgiving, and reach out to me if you need any help.